Hey everybody, OCD Mikey here for the Mikey Show again, and I am in yet another rig here, which is a really well put together system by a local friend and client, and this is a 35-year-old gentleman with a very sophisticated rig. So any of y'all that are still in your 30s, don't say this is for old guys like me. So as you can see, we come in, there's nice vinyl collection here. And what many of you some of you may recognize, the older guys will recognize these speakers. The younger guys will not. These are Pipe Dreams. There was a company called Hemisphere and then Near Field Acoustics that made the Pipe Dreams. And as you can see, we've got ASC tube traps here at the first reflection point. And we've got a dual setup of REL subwoofers, and you guys probably know better than I do which model these are, but they're big. And then we've got a pair of AudioNet monoblock amplifiers. Those are Class A Bs. On the very bottom, we've got an active crossover for the Pipe Dreams and the RELs. Here we've got a VAC preamp with the master phono stage, and this is the power supply for that preamp. Right up here we've got the Inuos streamer. I'm not sure which one, but it's like $5 or $6 grand. Over here we've got APL Hi-Fi for the DAC, which is a DSD SR. Very good piece. I have that, used to a similar one, not this exact model, but the DSD MR was my reference for a long time. We've got the a headphone amp right up here, a headroom amp. This is the motor control for the VPI, and this is with a silent running stand, and this is the VPI HRX. That thing's got a really cool platter. Is that the color of the vinyl that's making it like that? Yep. Okay, got you, because it's colored vinyl up top. We're getting ready to play a piece of vinyl. He's got a pretty sweet cartridge. Is what?
Vanden Hall Colibri XGW.
Vanden Hall Colibri XGW. Wow, look at the little wires on that thing. Like you can see, I'm not going to get up too close because I'll probably bump it and then tear the stylus off and cost myself a lot of money. But anyways, so this is a really interesting rig. He's got some room treatment, as you can see on the back wall in the corners. And we are going to listen to a piece of vinyl, and then we're going to go ahead and play it back on and stream it as well, just so we can hear the difference. So hold on. I'm already sensing vinyl magic.
Vinyl
Wait, magic. Like, this sounds really good. I think that's a killer turntable setup. It's probably what I'm hearing. This is already, I'm really like what I'm hearing. Okay, so while we find the digital version here, I'm just going to give you a little bit of feedback. What is really interesting and kind of funny about listening to that vinyl piece that we just listened to, at least for me here as my experience, is that it is an extremely clean sound. Like, the vinyl up until now that I've been exposed to normally has like a sound of like a groove and like crackle and pop and stuff like that. I don't get any of it here. At least I haven't noticed it at all. And what I find my mind thinking is, wow, this sounds like digital. So think how funny that is. When most people sit and compare, they listen to digital and go, it sounds like analog. Like, I'm listening to analog thinking it sounds like digital because it's so clean. So that's pretty surprising. I've never, ever had that experience where my brain is thinking this analog sounds like digital. This is the first time that's ever happened. So I got to say, hats off to the owner here for having put together quite a vinyl rig, to the point where my picky ass is like, whoa, this thing is exemplary. I think this is a real reference type setup, because so far, at least, and maybe it's the pressing. Sure, he was telling me earlier that this is a 200 gram recording, but the turntable was set up for 120. So now there's a different angle of incidence. I don't know what you call that, the angle of incidence or whatever, coming in, but it's a different height, right? Because it's thicker vinyl. So it would need to be fully tweaked for him to get it perfect for this pressing, but it sounded pretty darn good to me. So here we go with digital. Yeah, let's get it up, and we're gonna dB match right now to 83 dB, which is what we had before. Weird. Yeah, we have to get it up higher, but it sounds like it's already there.
I think when the other music kicks in, it's going to
Oh, sure, I got you. Probably good.
I don't even care where we go. Just far away from here. I'll come with you.
That's cool. That's good.
Faked our deaths, lit a match, closed the door, waited for the flash. Greyhound station, paid in cash. It's Lazarus, we coming back. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We've been in this town for far too long. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We're moving on, we're moving on, we're moving on. Sunset, no regrets. First chance, last stand, stuck in the middle. Even bad guys, no good enough. You taste so sweet, it hurts a little.
I'll just go over what I kind of heard while I was here, which is really kind of throwing my brain for a loop. I'm hearing what I would imagine is an exact reversal of what I would expect to hear. Now that we listen to the digital came across as smoother and more, almost a little bit more two-dimensional, had a bit more punch in the mid bass, but vocal peeled off the background better on the vinyl for sure. The vinyl in this case beats out the digital. As I'm talking to the owner of the system here, He's explaining to me that the cartridge that he has is extremely revealing. And this is a very good recording. So what we're hearing is an example of a very good recording. Now, what he said was on some of the other vinyl pieces that he has, evidently this cartridge is brutal and reveals less than adequate or less than stellar pressings and recordings. And so if he uses this for reference vinyl listening. When he has his top vinyl pieces, that's when he throws on the record. Otherwise, if it's sort of a middle of the road pressing or recording, he will just listen to digital rather than go buy the vinyl for it or what have you. The story on vinyl for me keeps developing and keeps gelling. It's becoming more clear, and I'm understanding the strong suits of it really much better here. So it's very interesting. We're learning a lot. I hope you guys are learning from this too. That is not a cheap turntable, and to keep that perfectly aligned and do what he does, it takes dedication, time, and effort. And it's very much a craft. There is, if you don't know what you're doing, you might be better off, or if you don't want to learn about it and you don't want to do that, you might be better off not doing it, because it's a labor of love. There is definitely a labor that goes along with this gorgeous turntable that he's got. And that was a real exemplary recording. So that was very, very interesting. I got an exact reversal. I thought vinyl would sound smoother and more glossed over, and with digital being more distinct, but I got the exact opposite in this rig, at least with this recording. So it was very, very interesting. The Midnight Endless Summer. Okay, so that's the pressing. Hey, everyone. Okay, so for my synopsis of this listening session that we had, how I felt was it was very interesting for me, because in this listening session, vinyl actually was more detailed than digital. The digital was smoother and more kind of glossed over. So this was like an exact reversal of what I'm normally used to hearing. So it was very interesting to hear. Now, it was also clear afterwards, we listened to another recording where digital was better, okay? Digital just, the analog counterpart was kind of a little aggressive, maybe a little forward, and the digital was actually smoother. I could hear things like the organ, a little bit more body in it with the digital, which was just, it was an interesting kind of juxtaposition to listen to vinyl in that regard. It was an actual full reverse from what I'm used to. My feeling on vinyl still has not changed. Do I want it? No, I don't want it. After our listening test, was it one of the best vinyl, cleanest vinyl rigs I heard? Yep, absolutely. That was in that listening test. So my feeling still remains the same, and I'm doing this to give a well-rounded synopsis from just more experience, to give the vinyl files the benefit of the doubt with me, because they're all, oh, you haven't heard it sound good and blah, blah, blah. You need to go hear it sound good and whatever. So that's what I've been doing. I've been going to different places. The last two rigs were vinyl. This one was the same price, $200,000. We had 7-foot tall pipe dreams, dual rel subs, much more of a big scale presentation. This room sounded far better than the last rig that you guys listened to with the Magicos and so forth, and it was older and it was less money. My view is still the same. Vinyl is for people that love the media, that want to collect it, okay? Because you definitely have a collection that goes not just playing records, it's like acquiring records and amassing a record collection. So if your thing is collecting, then vinyl is perfectly into that. If you are a collector, you like collectibles, man, vinyl may be properly, totally just right up your alley. If you like to hear the difference between bad pressings and good pressings. Again, vinyl may be right up your alley. You can hear the good things and hear the bad things and hear the difference on your cartridge and change your cartridge, and you have a couple different cartridges, a couple different arms, one for a softer sound, one for a more aggressive sound or a more forward sound. And you can have, I've seen where people pull out drawers and they have drawers of cartridges and different arms and all this stuff. They have turntables with 2 different arms on a different arm length, so there's different angles that it comes down. It's totally an area that I will leave to the people, other people. I do greatly respect it. However, yesterday was a great example of how it can sound extremely clean, to the point where I might have guessed in a blind test, I may have guessed that the vinyl was digital. I probably would have yesterday. So I thought I'd take you guys along on that little trip. Thanks for joining. If you like my content, subscribe below, give me a thumbs up, and I appreciate it. So thanks for joining. See you.